Hey guys, this is Gary Martell here, co-founder of Power Palace Gym, an old school bodybuilding, powerlifting, strength conditioning gym here in my hometown of Newberg, Oregon. We've got a lot of vintage equipment I specifically search out to add to the gym because my opinion is if it can last for decades, then it's got strong welds compared to a lot of the newer equipment made in China, which is not always, up to par. Okay, so what we have here is an old school, I believe it is a Pro Maxima brand of standing calf raise, plate loaded. Not sure how old it is, but the bearings are definitely pretty vintage, so I did look them up. So when I was trying to figure out what brand this was, because somebody has repainted it and removed the original sticker identifying what brand it was. Somebody put into the comments, oh, you shouldn't do standing calf raises because it'll cause you to get a slipped hernia disc or some nonsense, okay? And then they cited some articles where people say, oh, if you don't do a standing calf raise, you're going to break your spine, your back. And that doesn't make any damn sense, okay? So as we got to discussing this, he said, people have a tendency to bounce around on it. And I'm like, that is not how you do a standing calf raise, all right? That's a completely different exercise, and that's not how you use this thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little tutorial here where I actually try to show people how you're supposed to actually use the standing calf raise. And to do that, I kind of have to pull my pants up here so that you can actually see my calves, okay? So just give me a second here. Let me adjust my pants so that people can see my calves here so they can see what I'm talking about, all right? Okay. Hopefully this stays up. So standing calf raise is a calf exercise. Your calves are right here. It consists of two different muscles, and standing calf raise works one of the muscles, and a seated calf raise works the other muscles. Now it's been suggested that you don't have to do standing calf raise because you can just do a seated calf raise in a leg press. But that will actually not work the muscle that a standing calf raise does. If you want to have calves, you have to do some variation of standing calf raise. The original exercise is called a donkey raise. And it consists of you literally bending over a bench and having somebody up on your back and doing calf raises that way. And the problem with that exercise is that you need the weight of the exercise, the resistance, it depends upon the literal weight of the person who's on your back. And what old school bodybuilders had to do is they literally had to pile guys on top of each other onto a guy's back to increase the weight. Thus why the standing calf raise machine was invented, which is excellent. A much better alternative, more convenient, easier to add weight for, and control the weight of the exercise. So right now I have two 45-pound plates on here, which is only 100 pounds. And that's really not a lot of weight when you consider the fact that I weigh about 220 pounds, okay? So going up like this, it's about the same thing. And it doesn't really matter how much weight's on there, the movement is going to be the same. So you get under it, and you want to make sure that your shoulders are about the same height on the floor. So stay in front of the machine, not on the platform itself. Your shoulders should be about parallel to it. And the reason is because once we actually get inside of this machine, we're going to stand up on it, right? And I'm going to have all of the weight on my legs, not on my back, okay? To have it on your back, you're leaning too far back, leaning too far forward, okay? You're not doing any of that. You're keeping the weight on your legs because what you want to do is lower your heels literally to the floor and then step up like this, okay? To the floor and up like this. That's all you're doing. It does not place, if you're feeling stress on your lower back, you are wrong, okay? You just slightly bend your knees, keep it kind of straight. Don't have your knees completely locked like this. Keep them straight, okay? And just work the calf all the way down, all the way up. It's very simple exercise. It is not very complicated. And there's absolutely, positively, no reason why you should ever get a herniated anything while doing a calf exercise. A calf exercise. So, do not be afraid of a standing calf raise machine, and anybody who tells oh, you're going to hurt your back, they don't know what they're talking about. Okay, before I finish out this video, I just want to add a little additional information, right? You got to think about how wacky this suggestion is, okay? Think about the fact that people do, barbell squats all the time with significantly more weight placed onto the back, okay? They're doing deadlifts, all types of stuff, and you're concerned about the calf raise machine, which is significantly less weight on your shoulders to compress your spine with, okay? I mean, yeah, technically there's some pressure on your spine, but nowhere near as much as you would have if you're doing many other exercises. I mean, consider the fact that a pendulum squat machine is very similar placement of the shoulder pads onto your shoulders, okay? Compared to the standing calf raise machine. It's a very similar kind of device. Of course, with the pendulum squat, it is designed to go much lower to allow you to perform a squat with your quads and your hamstrings, okay? But the standing calf raise machine is not designed for that. It is designed purely for doing a standing calf raise with your calves. So there is no reason why you should ever hurt your back doing a standing calf raise. And if I don't know why somebody would suggest this other than the fact that they don't know how to do standing calf raises and they injured themselves while, dicking around, not knowing how to do the exercise correctly. Now, granted, I don't have a lot of weight on this, right? It's only 100 pounds. But, I mean, I've loaded up standing calf raise machines before. You should not feel it in your back. It is not a back exercise. It is a calf exercise. And by proper placement of your legs to, parallel to your shoulders, all of the weight should be on your legs, just like with any kind of other, shoulder weighted exercise where the intention is to work your legs and not your back, i.e. a squat. So, I don't know. If you want to have calves, you got to do standing calf raises, okay? You just have to. £245. It's too easy, bro. Too easy. See? You have a little conversation because it's not putting any real stress on your diaphragm at all. I suppose if you're really, really, really afraid of doing the standing calf raise machine because you're afraid you're going to hurt your back, you could just wear a weighted belt, a weightlifting belt, just like if you're doing a squat or a deadlift, right? Help support your diaphragm a little bit more and take off pressure on the spine. But it's like, it shouldn't even be necessary, okay? You should be able to have a normal conversation with people while doing a standing calf raise because it's not a very upper body intense movement. You're putting all of the stress onto the calf muscles, and your calves are not as strong as the rest of your leg, okay? There's people that can definitely load up, the calf machine with a crazy amount of weight, but they're not really focused on the calf then. They're really using the rest of their leg to compensate, and that's not actually focused on the calf. You want to have that strong mind-muscle connection with your calf muscles and not trying to use your quads and your hamstrings and your hip muscles to try to do the motion of the standing calf raise exercise. It should be a purely calf raise exercise, thus why it's called the calf raise.